to a very sad episode
of
our House of the Dragon coverage, because it's the last one.
Oh.
The show is done. It's me, Hail to the Queen, Levi,
for the season.
by Ben, for the season. Ben and first time House of the Dragon talker on the channel, Brent, who has been watching the show.
Yes.
You can catch up on his coverage on his channel on his Sunday podcast. But what everyone think? I mean, it's the finale, everyone.
It's done.
It's done. Season 1 is in the books.
Crazy season.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I've been saying all day. I've been having some like pre-episode depression, knowing it was all going to be over.
Yeah.
I had mid-episode depression.
He had mid-episode depression. Look, the show is over, and that's really sad.
It sucks.
I think
it's everyone has been phenomenal. Every single episode has been just phenomenal.
The quality never once dipped off. Not once.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Agree. Completely.
And as I was watching the episode, I came up with one big statement for this live stream. This is no longer a Game of Thrones spinoff. Even though it might be called Game of Thrones, and it has a Game of Thrones little, song in the beginning there, this is not a spinoff. This is its own property, completely realized from start to finish. Just fantastic. This should be judged as its own thing. It has escaped the it being a spinoff.
A spinoff, yeah.
Some people don't. Spinoffs often don't have that same quality maybe as the original product, and I think we've been sort of teetering around this take the entire season. But now it's said and done. This season absolutely can stand up to anyone in the Game of Thrones. Which is a crazy thing.
You give credit to the showrunners. The showrunners. I don't know what they've done. I haven't really researched what they've done before, but my God, these guys have got it down. They have got it down. I hope they're around for season 2.
Ryan Condal is. Yeah, Miguel Sapochnik has moved on, but Ryan Condal, the bald guy, he and George R. R. Martin he's like the co-creator of the show with George, and they're sticking around. But Miguel Sapochnik, he's the guy with the accent. He's British accent. He's not staying around.
Okay.
So it will be different next. It will be different. But Ryan Condal will be there, and he wrote this episode. He rewrote most of the episodes.
Right. That's what matters, really. That was the strength.
But I on my watching the intro for the last time, I had the same thought, Ben, of I remember in 2019 when Game of Thrones ended and there were all those spinoffs announced and everyone was just so down in the dumps about them, and everyone was like, it's all gonna be bad. Who's excited for this? Who cares? Game of Thrones is ruined.
No Benioff and Weiss involved in this.
No Benioff is Weiss. Everyone was so depressed. How can
I was
brand
not
ever recover?
I was barely interested in this show, and then the trailer came out, and I'm like, okay, it's sort of interesting. I'll give it a chance. But man,
and then boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
So I'm very thankful for whatever executive at HBO Max believed in this.
It gives me hope going forward. Now a Jon Snow show, maybe that's good.
Maybe it could be good.
Could be good.
I know. Could be good. That's crazy. This show has done so much for the Game of Thrones brand.
Oh, totally. No, absolutely.
Completely turned it around.
Yeah.
So I'd like to just talk through the episode, and then we can talk about the season a little more. But
sure. Yeah.
Talk about the episode as itself. The Black Queen. Here.
The Black Queen.
Sort of
before we go into it.
Well, yeah. Go ahead.
I do want to say that I had expressed I was disappointed in the finale a couple minutes ago. I'm oscillating through a lot of emotions. I really think you have to view 9 and 10 as the finale. They're literally you're getting two halves of the one story. It's not a traditional Game of Thrones episode 9 is the event. 10 you deal with the aftermath of the event. That's how all Game of Thrones seasons have been, where the episode 9 is where the big event happens. This is it's the same thing parallel, and you're getting two sides of the story.
Totally.
So it has to be viewed as kind of one thing, which is it is how it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Continue.
So we got that out of the way.
Yes. I was going to say this opening credits, was there way more blood streaming through the river of everything that we had before? Was it seem like there was a lot more blood flowing through in the background and in the streaming logo and introduction?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't think so.
Really? See, I thought there was I feel like this week had a ton more blood. There was wider rivers.
I don't know.
There was two I don't know about that. Maybe.
I don't know.
Brent
check and see.
A couple weeks ago, Brent brought up to me that he thought that as each episode went on, people who died, their house like sigils were filling with blood. But I went back. I think it's the same every week.
Is it?
I don't know.
Really?
I think it's the same. I think it's the same every week.
Well,
I don't know,
no,
I could be wrong,
Viserys's crown fills with blood. You see his crown inside of his house, and it starts
I feel like
filling
it's
with
always
blood.
filled with
Has it
blood.
not
Really?
always? I don't
I
know.
don't
I don't
think
pay
so.
too close attention now. I
think
listen to
I-
the song
yeah.
and use my phone until it
Yeah.
comes on.
I'm pretty sure it didn't before. I think as a character dies or someone dies in the houses, it fills up their emblem. That's why we got so many emblems, and each river I think is like bleeding off as a vein of their
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, I'm not
Heritage.
so sure about that. But
Okay.
I will say, though, weakest part of the show, intro credits. That
Really?
Yeah, come on. I never liked the fact they just took the Game of Thrones theme. Like, do something.
Oh,
unique.
what? No, it was great. It made me feel
No,
like
because
I was
it's not a Game of Thrones
invested.
spinoff. It's this new
Okay,
thing. No,
all right,
they need a new
okay,
song.
All right.
They
fair
need a
enough.
new song.
No, I
And
was
that
fine
being
with it.
said, the music in this episode, fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
Throughout the whole series has been great. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the last two episodes.
The
I
last couple
agree.
episodes really like
Yeah,
sold me on
just
it. Initially
impacted,
I thought
yeah.
maybe it wasn't like as prominent, but that Rhaenyra theme, like
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no.
Well, I've looked it up.
Yeah.
That's not Viserys's crown. That's Aegon's crown, and the blood
is
is actually
Aegon's?
flowing through because Aegon is the guy who dies in the beginning. It's
Right,
flowing through the
okay.
bloodline of who led into Rhaenyra.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
So I don't think
But
it changes at all.
It doesn't change.
Really?
I don't think so because the whole thing is meant to be following the bloodline into
Right.
Rhaenyra, and I don't think it
Right,
won't change.
Okay. Fair enough. Anyway.
I mean, it might. If anything, it might get longer as the show
Hmm.
goes on because there's more kids. But I don't think it's like
Yeah.
because of people.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm looking it up. Yeah, it looks like. Yeah. So it looks like they just add more sigils based on kids.
Yeah,
Right,
it does
okay.
change. All right.
Right.
Good job, Brian.
But
think so.
but does the sigil fill with blood when a character is gone, or does
don't
it
know.
stay? Yeah, that's where I'm going with. It's like it feels like that when a character has died, their emblem gets filled with blood. Prior to that, they're not filled with blood. I think they add additional. Anyway, it's something to go.
Maybe
All
back
right,
so.
well,
I
you know what
think-
else fills up with
We got
blood?
10
the
episodes of
floor-
credits.
The
Oh, I think-
floor of the ground after Rhaenyra goes into labor. Let's talk about that
I think
show.
Brent
Yes,
might be right.
yes.
That absolutely. Oh God, come on, Game of Thrones. You guys show me like a fetus like that up close.
Oh, that
Come
was disturbing.
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean,
hey there.
what is
Wow.
it? That like the 5th birth of this show? Can we get a tally on that?
Yeah.
Well, she had-
well, this
We
was
start
stillborn,
with a
so
birth,
it's like,
episode
yeah,
1.
Yeah. Another stillborn.
We have
yeah.
Rhaenyra twice now. We have Lena back. Like I don't know, a lot of
Yeah.
births in this show.
Yeah.
And like half
mean-
of them do not go well. More than
It's
half.
thematically
Yeah.
it's thematically resonant, just as
Yes.
what they said in the after the post thing that her giving birth this
Mhm.
way is it completes her
War.
journey is to becoming her father. Her father
Yeah.
had to burn his stillborn child, and now she has
Mhm.
become, she's truly
Yeah.
his heir. And
Yes. Yeah.
That's
she's done.
which is such a great way to
Yeah.
start the episode because
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
we get in there and we're like, all right, she doesn't know about anything that happened in the last
Yeah.
episode here, and then we get Rhaenys pulling up with the
Yeah.
news, and that immediately just sends her
Yes,
to a
yeah.
miscarriage.
Yeah.
Like, and because she's like, oh, and I'm like, oh, is she just like reacting sort of like weird to this
Mhm.
information? But then,
Rhaenys stepping up to the plate was just, oh my god! From last week into this week, beautiful stuff. She's awesome. Love the
thanks,
character.
Lavelle.
I loved how she didn't ever at any point during the episode kneel.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not
That
quite
was
sure
awesome.
where her loyalties are going into season 2.
Yeah, me too. I agree. I think for now it's whichever way the tide turns.
Yeah, I'm getting that. Well, she's
Yeah.
just too proud.
Really, I don't think she would ever be on Allison's side.
no,
I don't think she would
no,
ever be on the
yeah,
side
I
of the
think you're
Greens.
right about
She would
that.
never do that.
Yeah, okay.
But she might be on
fair enough.
her side. I
But
don't
she's
know.
still on
We'll
her
see.
side. Yeah, that's
She's
what I
on
mean,
her
yeah.
side.
Yeah, but she would.
Yeah.
But she would absolutely never willingly make a pact with the Greens. She hates them.
I agree,
Oh no,
I
no,
agree.
she I agree with that. Yeah, but she's also looking for her own. Well, I don't know if she is anymore. I mean, at one point,
No, I don't
we
think
know
so.
her husband was
Because she
No, it
convinced
seems
the whole
like
thing.
it's-
Is she convinced
You're right,
Corlys to
yeah, that's it.
throw her weight behind.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like she's Team Rhaenyra all the way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I just loved like Damon, at the table, like with the council, and you just hit Rhaenyra is just like screaming, and they're all just like they can kind of hear it, and they're like,
yeah,
awesome.
Like, and I said it, during the episode to, I texted out to the boys, Rhaenyra, girl boss. She's there. She's like, you know what? I gotta go fight this war. Let me just rip my stillborn child out of myself.
Out of myself.
Out of me.
Yeah.
So I can get to what I need to do right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's kind of crazy for that.
That's pretty crazy, like for that. But I mean, I think
dude, all like the handmaidens are like, let us help you, and she's like, go away.
Yeah, go away.
God, like that is just disturb. I mean, I don't like. Yeah, there's a lot of violence and gore in Game of Thrones, but that's more like.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know. That's just like a
hard
hard thing to watch as a human.
Yeah, it
being.
was a hard piece to watch. It was. I mean, it was amazing. Again, give credit to the props people who made such realistic, disturbing-looking things of a baby's fetus. It's weird. But
it's weird, but it's symbolic.
For sure.
It's visceral, and I think that's what's so great about this show. That they don't shy away from showing like really dark stuff like that. Really, just takes that was great.
And it still got darker. It still got darker.
Yeah. Well, yes. So like basically, the whole theme of the show is these men sort of using Rhaenyra and Alicent like to fight their own wars, and like we see that once again throughout this episode. Everyone, all those guys are like raring to go. Yep. Good old Rhaenyra still thinking about Song of Ice and Fire.
Damon.
I know.
Well, he wanted to. So good.
Yeah.
His Matt Smith's performance this episode, you could just feel his. Obviously, I mean it's Matt Smith, so you know all the time, but the way that you saw his rage, his anger, just spilling out of every possible, like every moment, every waking moment, he wanted to kill somebody.
Yeah.
That's he's angry. Because Rhaenyra drops the Song of Ice and Fire on him.
Starts choking.
He's like, "What the heck?" He doesn't know about it. I think he's a bit blindsided.
Yeah,
he starts choking her, which is.
I know that was a shock. Yeah,
it brought back the old Damon.
Yeah,
I think that moment for him. Sorry, this is what the lag I'm talking about. I don't mean to cut you off, but I think that moment for him choking her, like when she brought up the Viserys and the Song of Ice and Fire, like that took him back to his War in the Stepstones sort of moment, like that Damon, because that Damon. Who did that, who killed the crab feeder. Like that was him. He had to prove himself to Viserys, and he's always lived in the shadow of his brother and all that stuff. And for Rhaenyra to like drop that on him, that there was this even greater thing that Viserys kept from him, is I imagine that really sent him, it sent him back to a dark place before, like episodes 1 through 3 kind of Damon who was evil Damon.
Well, I've been just going back and forth like, does Damon care about Rhaenyra at all? It's just like a power grab, because like
no, I think he does.
I do too. I think it's more of a rageful moment, but it's been very like confusing, which is what makes him such an interesting character. You never know what he's thinking or feeling or going to do at any given moment on screen.
Yeah.
But I mean, he chokes out Rhaenyra, but she sort of takes it.
Yeah.
And he lets go. Which is like, which obviously, this is also very strange because we have to talk about all this bad stuff. But like I say, I think he really was. He was flashing back to like, damn, Viserys really kept this one last thing over me,
right?
And I can't believe he did this. But I think he is ultimately loyal to her, and like because the fact that he put his sword down, because I loved as we're going here, like the flashing back to episode 3, or episode 2 actually. And him being on the bridge in the same spot in the same situation with Otto Hightower walking up, framed the exact same way, and here they are again in this exact same moment.
It's all in the volume, by the way, for those Star Wars fans out there. Yeah, they have a much bigger volume than anything that they're working with.
I didn't realize that particular.
They have a massive volume.
HBO has this massive screen.
All the Dragonstone stuff has been volume. A lot of those kind of shots.
It's the one they developed on the Batman, right? Because they developed all the screen.
All the Warner Brothers stuff. Yeah, it's a huge spot. So.
Now,
but point being,
sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say, just on that scene, as we're talking about that when they were facing off again, we also had Eric. I don't know.
Eric,
yeah. But his brother was on the other side, right? He was there with Hightower, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
no.
opposite.
No.
Oh,
No.
his brother wasn't there. Okay, I thought his brother was actually on the opposite side at that point.
I don't think he was there.
No,
I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that was an awesome scene. Yeah, just
That was
very
so
much
cool, yeah.
mimicking like the frame the same way. And we did sort of jump past
Oh,
like,
we
the
did.
funeral scene, which I just
Yeah.
wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Because like this is when we get Rhaenyra is crowned. This is finally the
Yeah.
Black Queen moment.
Viserys'
Maybe not
throne.
in front of the
Yeah,
realm,
Crown.
but she gets the crown, and like everyone kneels, and she gets her cool theme.
Not
playing
Rhaenys
nice
though.
and loud. Not Rhaenys.
Rhaenys is not
yeah,
Neil.
yeah. Well,
Which I loved.
mean,
that,
yeah,
that
that
made
was
me, it made
cool
me
too, yeah.
it made me a little emotional, honestly. Because
Oh,
I loved
yeah.
I loved calling back to everything that Rhaenys has been through and told to young Rhaenyra, and here she is. She's watching her get the crown, and she's standing. Because what's the most tragic is that I hope they have to tell her in season 2, but like Rhaenys and Corlys are like the best allies, even though they actively think that Rhaenyra killed their son. Which
I
is
know.
like,
Which is like I
yes.
want them to come clean about it so bad.
Yeah.
'Cause it's been a
I'm
while
like,
now.
ugh. But
Yeah.
It's been a
clearly,
while
she,
now, and she could be like, "Hey, he's alive just
Yeah.
somewhere," and
Yeah.
an
she's
Essos.
because the way that she was standing, like all the emotions in Rhaenys' face, like all the stuff going, like clearly she's happy to see Rhaenyra
Right.
get the
Mm.
crown finally, but it's a mix of, I imagine, you
Yeah.
know, she's jealous a little bit, like that, that was meant to be her
Yeah.
all that long ago, even though she's mostly moved on from that, and just
Yeah.
all of the emotions in that moment.
Yeah.
I loved because everyone kneeled but her.
That was one of 2 scenes that I literally got teared up on. I mean, like literally when Eric, Eric, he also he grabbed that crown off Viserys's body too. Obviously, that was where he was left, right? Wasn't the crown left on his body at the end of the?
Yeah, you
that
are right. That is
last
the last
week,
time
yeah.
we saw it.
So he must have, obviously he swiped it to get it over to.
Yeah.
to,
No, I mean,
yeah,
it's an
Rhaenyra. emotional
emotional scene from Rhaenys' perspective,
Yeah.
but also we've been following Rhaenyra since the very start of the show.
sure.
Like
Oh, yeah.
I've been rooting for Rhaenyra. Like
Yeah.
she's queen now. It's
Exactly. Yeah.
It's great
One
to see
true
that.
queen.
Great scene.
Yeah.
I thought the way that it was like blocked was really amazing too.
Yep.
Like the
Yeah.
guards standing up in the rocks above
Yep.
everyone.
I
like,
thought
just-
about that. I was like, I
Mhm.
was thinking about it. I said, man,
Yeah.
I thought about it from a filmmaking perspective. Like, imagine
mise
getting
en
those guys
scène
up there.
It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
It's like,
Yeah,
right, they
yeah.
got those guys all the way up on those rocks, like those
Yeah,
poor dudes
yeah.
who just stand up there
Oh,
for like.
Yeah, it might have been
10
like CG,
10 hours.
CG,
Could be
I don't
freezing
know.
cold in the
Look
middle of the
up
night.
close.
No,
shooting
it's just
and-
be funny.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I was like, why'd they get up there? Like, it looks cool, but like, who are
I
they
know,
guarding
it
from?
Yeah, but
Like,
it looked pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
I thought about
right?
I thought
Yeah.
about both from like a filmmaking perspective and like, okay, so if a battle breaks out, like, who are they fighting? Like,
Yeah,
who are-
yeah.
like, what are they doing?
Looked pretty
They're
sick, though.
spotters probably.
They did.
Yeah, no,
did
they were
look cool.
keeping an eye out for
Yep.
ships.
I had that same thought.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Yeah, it was.
A lot of funerals in the show too. A lot of births, a lot of funerals, a lot of life, a lot of
Yeah.
death. It is a vicious cycle for this family.
Oh yes. Yeah.
So then I believe after we get Hightower coming to
Oh, dude, the way
To
she rips off
Dragonstone.
his hand to the king thing.
yeah,
Oh,
just-
yeah.
just- just
Oh,
yeet-
yeah.
just yeets
Yeah.
it, and like they're ready to go at that point. Damon
Yeah.
is ready to they're ready to square up.
Yeah.
And that's what I was
Sha-
saying. That's why I think he let go, is like he is a different person now than he
Yeah.
was then. He sheathed his sword. He stood down.
Yeah.
Where the Damon of before may not have.
Yeah.
Even in the face of, like, before she was queen, when he took Vaemon's head,
Yeah.
just chopped it in half. Like, I don't know if he would even do that now that she's queen. Like, I still think he has that level of respect for her, even still.
Yeah.
So then we
It's
get
interesting though.
Corlys back. Corlys is alive, so just conveniently missed an episode there, or
Yeah.
2 was it?
Two, even two.
But yeah,
Yeah.
his fever has broken and he is
Mhm.
healthy. He's talking to Rhaenys there at the bedside,
Yeah.
and he's team.
Yeah.
He's team Black. And
Oh, yeah.
I just like how he heard about his brother dying,
Yeah. Yeah.
but he's more just like like he was being.
That's the kind of person that he was.
Yeah,
kind
just
of
like
thing.
you said,
Yeah,
the Valerians like are too ambitious for
Yeah.
their own good.
Yeah.
Like, because that guy, he had a very honorable death, I suppose, but like
Yeah.
it's still stupid of him, to like.
But it still created the tension because we know it was Damon, who he knew he would have to more or less bend the knee to a certain degree, to the house. So it's like
I don't know.
it-
I don't
it
think
made
the
it
death
tense.
of Vaemond.
Hmm?
I don't think the death of Vaemond impacted Corlys at all. I think literally
he didn't.
No,
go
yeah.
anywhere.
when Rhaenys put it,
Yeah.
yeah, like when Rhaenys
Yeah.
put it, like homie called out the legitimacy
Yeah.
of the kids in front of Viserys. He was
Yeah.
like, yeah, like what, of course he was.
Yeah,
gonna
I know.
kill
Yeah,
Yeah,
he doesn't
You know,
care.
I don't
That's
think
the funny
think
part. Like,
Corlys
I don't think he cares.
has
fair
any ill will.
enough. Fair enough.
He's
But it's
just
still
like,
with that tension of what, where are these
He cares
two
more
gonna
about.
go?
He cares more about.
Yeah, no, you're right.
He
We
cares
don't
way more
know
about
where the
Laenor.
Valerians are going to lie in this whole
Yeah.
thing. So, when they do pull up and sort of like, they're like, yeah, we're Team Black, It's,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a nice relief. And I think even Rhaenyra is a bit surprised at it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I really wasn't. I mean, their grandkids are
No,
marrying each other.
No, I'm not
Like, clearly
surprised, but Rhaenyra was sort of surprised.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Damon has, their kids. Like Damon married their daughter, and
Right.
that seemed to be like not necessarily a bad relationship of all the relationships in the show. Like that one
Yeah.
seemed the most like just like normal. Like there wasn't
Yeah.
really anything that messed up. Like he just wanted to like retire. And they had
Yeah.
kids, and he seemed to like love his kids, and
Yeah.
and those are that's all Valerian blood. So
Yeah.
I think they've always been pretty tight.
Yeah, well, I mean,
That was
this
a- that was a
alliance
concern.
sort of between the Valerians and Team Black, like, is like what sets off Rhaenyra to actually like take action
Yeah.
at that point. She's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay, maybe we can like win this without a ton of fighting.
Yeah, because he
If we-
freaking took the
Yeah.
stepstones.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's like he's like, yeah,
Yeah.
like we can just cut them off, like we can
Yeah.
starve them out.
Yeah.
It's like so that's when sort of the plans hatch. And in this episode, we get so many mentions of Starks and
Yeah.
Baratheons.
It was nice to know where people laid.
And
And
like we just get all
Really.
the houses
Yeah.
like finally. We
Baratheon
get like
and-
some good Winterfell. Like they're talking
Yeah,
about it
yeah.
at least,
yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't get to go there, but
How cool was that
Next season.
table? The table that they lit the fire underneath and it all lit up and you saw the fire.
That's to say,
coming
it's
through
been that's Brent. That's been in Game of Thrones since season 1. That table's been
Really?
around for the whole show.
Really, I
Yeah,
I
that's the
still love
Dragonstone
it.
table.
Yeah, but I
It's
haven't
cool.
talked about it. But I haven't talked about it with you. You guys.
Yeah,
That's in like
No,
that's in, like
yeah,
that's
it's
in
been
every
conversation
season.
with you.
it's
I
been
know,
cool. Yeah,
Has
but
it,
it's
has, it,
still-
has it not been in
but-
every
but
season
it-
of Game of
but
Thrones?
You're right, but it's
Yeah,
been
but-
cool though.
It's been in every
it's
season
still cool.
of
It's
the
still
entire
cool.
show.
It's still a cool.
It's still
table.
cool, though. It
It's
doesn't
still
make it not
production.
cool.
But I
design.
know.
It's
Okay, yes.
beautiful.
Okay, yes. But I can't give that to House of the Dragon. That table was made
House
like
of Dragon.
Yeah,
15
but
years ago.
still,
It was
it's
yeah.
still-
like
it's
15
still
years
cool.
ago as a
Yeah.
prop.
Yeah, but still, it's cool.
Because
It's cool.
Stannis used it, Daenerys
Yeah,
used it.
yeah,
Everyone's been planning
Alright.
on that table forever.
It's still a cool table.
I don't
It's one of those
disagree.
cool
I want that
props that
table.
is
I
sort of
want to
stuck
make
around.
that table.
We got to get Durin. We got to get Lord Durin to take the table.
yeah.
yeah. That's funny.
All right. Well, so we get
Rings of power.
Jaehaerys scooting out to the Vale and to Winterfell.
Yeah, and Winterfell. Yeah,
Which I wonder if we're gonna like see that season 2. Maybe
we've been. Yes, we are. The showrunners have said we will see Winterfell in season 2.
okay. Perfect.
So
Well, I'm pretty sure that guy, was it Creard Stark? From my limited knowledge of the books, I do think he becomes a big player later down the line.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I believe so,
I expect maybe
my
to see
knowledge.
that scene or definitely Winterfell
Yeah.
in some aspect. But obviously, that's not where the story goes. We're gonna
Yeah.
go with Lucerys out to Storm's End, which
which holy shit, Storm's End
Yeah.
is like the coolest.
yeah.
Ever.
So we
Yeah.
never saw Storm's End in Game of Thrones. I don't
I
believe.
don't think so.
Maybe very briefly at some point. It's sort of like
It's been a
like
while
It
since
looked
I've
familiar.
seen
Rock.
it.
The building,
We saw-
the building looked familiar.
Yeah.
We saw Lannister Rock for like
Yeah.
like
Casterly
2
Rock, yeah.
minutes or Casterly
Yeah.
Rock for like 2 minutes in
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. I think if we did see Storm's End, it was brief,
Right.
but like awesome. Like of course there's like a storm
Yeah.
going on. Like
Mhm.
is just always like a storm there. Is that?
Yeah. I
Is
guess
that a
so.
rule?
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
just
guess so.
awesome tower. and then,
Probably.
the storm just like makes it so atmospheric.
Yeah.
We got Lucerys pulling up, then just the lightning illuminating Vagar in the
Mm-hmm.
background.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah. That
Huge.
that dragon. Yeah. I was at that moment. I was in fear for what was about to happen.
Yeah, I mean, props to Lucerys. Like if I were him, I would have just gotten back in the dragon and gone.
yeah. Yeah.
like he knew what that meant, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That his cousin was there. Yeah. Prince
So-
Aemon.
so he's going in. The guards bringing him in. Like I don't know. I sort of thought he was gonna get killed on the spot almost, but it was a Boros.
Yeah.
Boros is gonna hear him out.
Yeah.
Which is like that throne room is huge. See like
Yeah.
how like big that thing
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
But yeah, the I
Okay,
guess
now I'm
the
back.
what's that? Oh, yep, you're good. Yeah, the Prince Aemon's eye was a very cool over when he took his eye patch
Yeah, what is that?
off. Was
Is that
very
like a
like a
sapphire?
blue sapphire
it's
or
like a
something.
sapphire,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, that was
It's
pretty awesome.
it's Eternium from the film Black Adam.
Okay.
Oh,
That's what I thought.
spoilers!
That's not Black. That's not Black.
I was supposed to see
Yeah, I
Black
saw-
Adam tonight.
Saw
No,
Black
it's
Adam
okay.
yesterday. So
I haven't.
House of
been-
Dragons instead.
Yes. Yeah.
I think I made the right decision.
Yeah. That's
I
right.
mean, if
obviously-
you had to choose between the two, obviously.
right.
Yeah. So we get we get the Aemon to Lucerys showdown once again.
Yeah.
Obviously, these guys are rivals.
I want an action figure of Aemond in that outfit that he was in. He's so
Yeah, it
cool.
was cool.
I'd
Yeah.
buy a
Hot
any
toy.
sort of toy of him, and he
Yeah.
looks so freaking awesome. He looks so
Yeah.
awesome.
Really, he's supposed
Such
to
a
do.
good
He's like young Daemon.
Yeah.
He's the Daemon
I know.
of Team Green.
And obviously, he will be king. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
eventually,
The one-eyed king, they call him.
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
one-eyed
that was
king.
awesome. He's still
Yeah.
like on about this eye, man. So he's like, "I'm gonna cut out your eye."
Understandable.
They're
Oh,
about
yeah.
to they're about to square up,
Yeah.
but yeah, Boros ain't gonna have that.
Yeah.
So we get Jaehaerys flying out into the night, which is just like, man, the
Oh,
tension in that
storm.
scene was so great.
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
like no score, like just the flapping of the wings and like the
Yeah.
sound of the storm, and like every single lightning strike. I'm just waiting for
Yeah.
something to be illuminated in the background, and they
then
finally like
straight
reveal,
over
like,
the top.
right
Yeah.
over the top, and you just see
Yeah.
how much bigger, how much bigger he is.
You know, there's this tragedy about this child. It's like this child has been bullied
Yeah, that he's
and
dead.
Yeah,
terrorized,
it's a tragedy.
bullied and terrorized. Throughout his life. I mean, that's a sad thing for that final moment, and it wasn't even Aemon's, control as much as it wasn't. What's his dragon name? Arax.
Vagar. Well, Eric's and
Arax.
Vagar.
Arax is his, because Arax, like the kid lost control of Arax first.
I mean, Aemon
And-
lost control of Vagar too.
Straight afterwards, yeah. And
Yeah.
the fact was a true battle of the dragons, and their masters had no control over that. And you even saw it when Aemon saw the final blow towards towards
Well,
Viserys.
I just want to say to that end, like, they're pretty much all Game of Thrones. Like the dragons were never the strong suit of the show. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, this is like they were there. They were cool.
Yeah.
Like
We didn't understand the
other,
meaning.
other movies
Yeah.
and shows have
Yeah.
just done dragons so much
Yeah.
better, like Smog and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. But this show, I mean, like just the dragon v dragon combat,
Yeah.
like, oh my god, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, this
Can't
is
wait
this,
for next season.
This
It's
is
gonna be wild.
we got this with the direwolves, on in Game of Thrones. I got that same connection to the direwolves for the.
The direwolves were fucking wasted in Game of Thrones. Don't even get me started. on the
no,
direwolves.
but,
Yeah,
but
wait, that's a funny thing to say, Brent. They're like,
No,
what did
you're
any
right.
of them
You're right.
do ever?
They were wasted, but there was still a connection at the beginning. They tried to hold it, and then it lost it
direwolves-
after
The
season one.
direwolves were a complete waste of time.
Yeah,
Yeah, after
These
season one, there's
dragons
8
are no
seasons.
waste of
yeah. This is the connection. I guess we
Seasons
never
2
got to
through
see
8,
properly.
that had nothing to do
Yeah.
with the direwolves.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
but still.
But I mean, I don't know. I think that Lucerys sort of breaking up into clouds, and he's going up into heaven essentially. I don't know. He has like a moment of peace. I think that he thinks he won in that moment,
I don't know.
and then he dies instantly. I don't like. Yeah,
He thinks he got away, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like a Viserys moment where
Mm.
tragically, but he thinks, he's like, yeah, I succeeded, I outflew
Yeah.
Aemond in Vagar, and he's
The
like
dragons,
feeling
the
good,
dragons are not
and then he
having
just
Yeah.
instantly
It was a-
dies.
Yeah,
One
it was a
shot.
dance of the dragons.
yeah.
Or he falls. I don't know. I didn't get to really look at the falling body parts.
I think he
was-
got eaten.
I assume he just got eaten.
He got eaten. It was only pieces of his dragon that was falling,
Yeah.
the wing and a bit
Yeah,
of a
the whole-
leg and stuff like that. Yeah,
Gets-
the rest of it.
man,
Yeah.
man gets chomped.
Yeah, the kid got chomped at 14 years old.
Yeah, and that's really
Yeah.
the climax of the season. I mean, the episode. But obviously, it's the very
That
last
final shot.
that
was
final
so
shot
good.
with Damon, coming up.
Well, it's
to,
that's the last
Daenerys.
straw that
Yeah.
Rhaenyra is now
Yeah.
gonna maybe going the Mad Queen route.
Mm. Yeah.
You know, and just like what a fantastic
Yeah.
ending. Like, you know, you get like your classic Kubrick stare in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, doing her
Yeah.
glare with
That-
the camera.
So obviously, I trust in the show now,
Mhm.
and the showrunners, but knowing how it ends for all these characters, I
Yeah.
don't know how I'm going to be satisfied with the ending. And I don't want to necessarily spoil it.
Yeah.
but,
Well, okay. First time,
Yeah.
Like,
I
if
can't
you've seen
remember.
Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
if you've seen Game of Thrones, Joffrey like spills the entire beans in this show. It's hilarious.
I can't recall the specifics. so,
I know, but it's one of those things where it's like it's not really a spoiler because you
Right.
like you've heard it.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
you don't remember it, but you've
Yeah,
heard it
yeah.
before. But
Right. Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean, do you not want to know anything? Like even
No. Talk about it because it's been, as I said, it's been about a couple of years since I
okay. Well,
recall that scene,
Rhaenyra,
so I need recaps.
Rhaenyra will get chomped down by a dragon at some point in the show.
Right.
But that is not the end of the Dance of Dragons, Levi.
Right.
At that point, other characters will have been established that go on and continue, and there's going to be some avenging going on. Like
Fair.
Right.
it isn't like Rhaenyra's
Like she
dead,
gets
show's
burned,
over.
but she gets burned alive
No, she
in
gets
front of her
She
children.
gets eaten
Like,
alive.
that is something that
Oh really?
She
she gets eaten alive in front of her children. Like that's something that happens, and I'm like,
That
It is something that
I'm gonna be
happens,
so
and that's not
mad
going
at
to be
that.
hard to watch. Okay, Ned Stark gets decapitated in front of.
I know.
Like,
I
Yeah,
know.
Man, there
Okay,
are tough things.
and look at all the payoff of that, Ben. Arya really showed she completed the mission of revenge
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to make
because it was
those
wasted.
mistakes.
Because that whole plot was wasted.
No,
Yeah.
you're right.
I'm
You're right.
sorry.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
Well-
right about season 1 and what it's like similar things, but in the case of Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
those things did not pay off in any.
Yeah, but the
any-
show is
in
just so
any
much more
sense.
focused. That like
I know.
you
No,
can
no,
go
no. I
back
know.
to Game
I know.
of Thrones,
I'm just.
and there are honestly like 7 or 8 storylines that are just
Yeah.
completely dropped. I really think like
Right.
I'll get into a Game of Thrones rant, but
Yeah.
she's in like Karth, and there's like
It's
the
fair. It's a Game of Thrones
warlocks,
show.
and there's like
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
never pays off. Like all the stuff going on in Dorne, like Dorne doesn't even get mentioned in like the last like 2.5 seasons, like not
Yeah.
once. Like all like the
Not
sister
once.
plot.
How do we know how close to the books that House of the Dragon is holding on to right now?
It's
is it?
it's
been very
doing like
parallel?
a very like faithful adaptation, but like
Okay.
it takes sort of creative liberties at
Right.
times to fill
Sure.
in the blanks,
Right.
which is I really wish how Rings of Power had done it, but
Right.
like
Yeah.
things like I forget his name, but Rhaenyra's first husband,
Mhm.
like that, him being saved and
strong.
kind of going off to Essos is not in the book. It was just
Right.
like, he just
It
died.
was left
but
open ended.
Okay.
The showrunners are like,
Yeah.
okay, like this is
You can
their
read between the
interpretation
lines.
of what's
Okay,
happening. Same
yeah.
with Damon going and killing his wife.
Right,
That was
right.
not written in.
Oh, really?
That was not written in.
Right.
But
just said that
she
she
was
died
she
on
died
horseback,
and she got
yeah.
like crushed on horseback,
Crushed by a
Right.
horse.
and they knew she was a
Okay.
good rider. And it's like this
Okay.
doesn't make sense. Like
Right.
so, it's that kind of stuff that has been.
And also,
sort of-
George is involved with the whole show.
Oh yeah.
It's not as
Yeah.
if George isn't.
Yeah.
So it's like he's also he's
it's
approving.
been a quite
So-
faithful adaptation thus far,
So-
as far as I know. I haven't read it, but
So moments like Aemon being there and the dragons killing Lucerys
it's
Yeah,
as
Aemon
far as
actually
I know,
happened
yeah.
in a
As far
film.
as I know, yes.
Yeah, that's what starts it. Yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
But with some of the stuff though that has been referenced in Game of Thrones,
Mhm.
you can't avoid it because it's been talked about in the future already.
Right. yeah.
So it doesn't even. It's not even.
Yeah.
It's not even a matter of like, are they not
Right.
going to follow the books?
Oh, yeah.
It's like it was talked about in the future.
It was
in the
talked about
context
as
of that show.
backs. Yeah.
Um,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Which.
So it's like
yeah.
certain stuff has to go a certain way,
Oh yeah.
regardless of how they're adapting it.
Yes.
Which is tough because, like I said,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real mad when I have to watch Rhaenyra get eaten alive in front of her
Mm.
children.
And it's not going to be great, but these shows have always been like revolutionary because they killed characters off. Not so much at the end of Game of Thrones, but really, I mean, come on, Red Wedding. Like
I know. I know.
we still
Yeah.
talk about these scenes like
Yeah.
fondly, even though, man, like we had to see
Yeah.
like 3 of our favorite characters just get like
yeah. Waste.
just
yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
murked. And
Yeah.
I don't, like I agree, but if it's done right, it's going to be like
Mm.
it's going to be a jarring, like
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be great.
horrifying moment.
It's
But
probably
yeah.
gonna be. It's probably gonna be great.
Mm.
If you're rooting for a happy ending, I don't know.
Yeah. yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, like I said,
Yeah,
there's
it's
some
not gonna
avenging to be done. It's not the story ends there, but
Right.
Yeah. Dance of
I
the
mean, the
Dragons
thing is
ends
that
in what's-
the Targaryen history does sort of go, I mean, obviously, all the way up to Game
Dude,
of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like, at what point do they call off the show and be like, this is the story we're trying to tell.
Yeah.
Because obviously Rhaenyra is sort of the center of the show. So
Yes, yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna have to see. Like, I think we're gonna find out more as season 2 goes further into production, and like.
It depends on how many seasons they do finally do then. And we were all guessing about 4, I think.
George, I think he said himself that I think that he thought they needed 5 to 6 to tell the story properly.
Right. Gotcha.
I don't know if they're going to go that far with all the other shows in the horizon.
Yeah.
But I think 4 sounds like good.
I bet they do 4.
Yeah.
4 is our guess right here.
Yeah.
If you want to come back in 3 years and
the official All New Nerds
yes.
The official All New Nerds guess.
Fair enough.
Or maybe longer.
Come back in 3 years when Rings of Power season 2 still isn't out.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, like we know the show's already been in production for a little while, season 2 now.
Yeah.
I don't know if they started filming anything though.
Right.
So who knows? It's going to be at least a year and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a long wait.
It could be 2024.
So now we're sad. Now it's
I'm very sad.
Yeah.
This show was Ben. I think I have to say it. This show was like a 10 out of 10 season. This the sum of its parts, like the whole, like it adds up. Even though not every episode was a 10 out of 10 episode. This season, it's like a perfect season. This is like a perfect season of television.
I've rarely come across a perfect season of anything in general. It's great. It's definitely the best show of this year for sure.
Ooh, like, see, I watch a lot of TV. I don't give out 10 out of 10s. Like,
I know.
I don't know.
My scale is different.
Things have to be really perfect for me to give it a 10 out of 10. Right. I think this is like a 9-4 season though, and that's high for me.
I'm gonna go 9-8. I'm gonna go 9-8.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of TV. I don't know. You say best show this year? I don't know. Better Call Saul season 6 might take it for me.
Okay, all right. I haven't seen that yet, so
that's a tough one. But we're talking Andor. I mean. We're talking this against Rings of Power. I mean, come on. This is not even close for me.
No, this is not even close.
Despite my personal biases against Rings of Power and some of the creative decisions they made,
it's a slow,
just not as well written as the show.
And the character's not interesting enough, and some of them are, but not all of them. Yeah.
It doesn't stand up to the show, in my opinion.
I agree. I do agree. Yeah.
So yeah, we got a 9-4, a 9-8, and a 10 out of 10.
10.
Yep.
My 10. So, I'm trying not to do the. If I don't do decimals and I gotta lean one way, a 9 or a 10, I'd go 10 over 9.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm with you there. If I don't do decimals, I think it might
be closer to 10. Yeah.
I'm trying to do decimals though. You've always done decimals.
I know.
Yeah.
I just raised that proposition. I'm just trying to find something wrong with this show, and I can't.
No,
I can't. No. I really can't think of anything. Like I said, my biggest nitpick is that they didn't do a more unique theme song.
Oh yeah,
that's my one nitpick.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of all the moments.
The original theme, but
every single episode has just like a 10 out of 10 stellar. I'm thinking of the stag right now, the white stag showing itself to Rhaenyra, and everything.
That was the one episode that you were mid on.
I know, and I've watched it again. I'm like, man, this is great.
and this is a show. I mean, I think that Game of Thrones, it really shined in its battles at times. Like Battle of the Bastards is still my favorite Game of Thrones thing that ever happened.
Yep.
We didn't get a battle besides episode 3 this season.
Yeah.
No more than it's a few people fighting at any given moment. But yeah, I don't know. It didn't suffer for it.
No, definitely did not. It was so character driven more than anything. It was just great.
Yeah. And we're coming up with 40 minutes here. It's hard for me to let go. This is it. I mean, I think we've streamed maybe 8 out of 10 of these episodes, but it's been fun just talking about it every week. Game of Thrones is such a community show. It's always been that way. After every ep, it's just people talk about it. It's a big watch party show. So it's been a lot of fun talking about it every week.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sad. I'm a sad man.
I miss it.
I've been fun watching you guys talk about it. Yeah, I literally. It's watch Game of Thrones, see what you guys have to say about it.
And I think it's just been it's great every single time.
Yeah.
But what can you do? It's a good show.
We wait for another year and season 2 comes out. And
probably more, but
that's it.
We will hopefully be here covering it when that happens.
We should be.
Yay.
Maybe not right here exactly, but I gotta get Johnny to watch it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we've got to get Johnny.
You gotta watch Game of Thrones. Well, You think you have to watch this? You think you have to watch this show before Game of Thrones?
I think he
Or
can
other
watch
way
this
around?
show and have zero connection to Game of Thrones whatsoever, and just start off with this show. If you can convince him to start off with this show, he doesn't need to understand or know anything about Game of Thrones.
I think I agree, but I think preferably the experience would be Game of Thrones first, because you could appreciate what this season does so much better.
That makes sense too. Yeah,
Also,
the world building is there.
I know, but here's the thing: they start talking about this the prince
Song of
that
Ice
was
and Fire,
promised, Song of Ice and Fire. You get to
Yeah.
Game of Thrones,
Yeah,
where they're living it,
yeah,
and they forget about it in the last few episodes, and it doesn't
That's
mean
bad.
anything ever
Yeah.
in the end.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
yeah,
That is a point.
don't
That is a
forget that,
point.
like this show. It's all of like what it's setting up. It's just personally for me, it's like the Mando versus Mandoverse leading into the sequels. So it's like we know where
Very
it ends.
different.
Yeah,
I don't
Very
think so.
different.
We know where it ends. I don't like where it ends.
right.
Like
Makes
so,
sense.
I just mean in the context of the universe. You didn't in terms of Star Wars rant. The Force works in a like the logic of the universe is so much different than in 7 seasons of Game of Thrones. Like characters repeatedly telling you, "Hey, this is a thing that's gonna happen. Hey,
Okay, I
this is
know,
a thing
I know.
that's gonna
I
happen.
know.
Hey, this is a thing
yeah.
that's gonna happen."
yeah,
And then it
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
happen.
yeah. Trust
Very
that.
different.
We get it.
Not
Yes.
the same.
Yeah.
Not the same. Not the same at all.
Similar to me in my mind, though.
I'm just-
But more just in the sense of like watching a prequel setting up something that you know how it pays off
Fair.
and it doesn't satisfy you personally.
I guess, but
just keep
that
hearing-
was like you had that experience in Game of Thrones, like each season as it progressed, and you're like,
Yeah,
"What's
I know,
happening?
I
Oh
know.
no!"
Yeah.
You're like, "Ugh."
Yeah, the prince that was promised. I don't know. Like maybe that becomes a thing eventually post Game of Thrones. Who knows?
Maybe they make it. Maybe they explain it. Maybe they make it better.
I mean,
Maybe
it
this
would
is the
suck
Mando.
that if all this was for nothing. Like, I want Rhaenyra's dedication to the Song of Ice and Fire to mean something in the end. But they just forgot about it, didn't
Yeah.
they? Sad to finish this out on
Little
a
bit.
Game of Thrones sour note, but
just like how Danny forgot about the Iron Fleet. It happens.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you
you
go.
just forget things. But
Danny she forgot about the Iron.
that's something that actually said, Brent. I don't know if you ever like seen
Yeah.
that clip, but I don't remember if it was Benioff or.
right.
But he's just like, so she just forgot about it.
Yeah,
It was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not great, but this show was great. This show
Yeah.
is fantastic. I'm gonna
It's
take it for
great.
what it is.
It's great.
This is no longer a Game of Thrones spin-off show. That was my
Yeah.
sweeping declaration from this
Yeah.
from the beginning of
I-
this, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah. I am looking forward to rewatching it beginning to end now.
Yes,
on a
I am
single
too.
pitch.
I'm
I could
I'm gonna
I could
launch
easily
right into a
binge watch.
rewatch. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm going
easily
to
binge watch. Yeah.
because I miss it already.
Yeah.
All right, you want to send us out?
All right,
Lou,
take
then?
us out, Ben.
Oh, I'm gonna take us out. Okay,
No, because my internet is so freaking
Yeah.
bad, and I am. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much for
I'm-
tuning in today. Thank you for if you've tuned in the whole way through. Let us know what you thought about this episode. Let us know what you thought about this season. And, just thanks for coming on. Have a
See
good
you
one.
guys.
And,
Bye.
and